Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another episode of Battle Bites here in World of Tanks. And today something I don't think I've done before. This is a mid-event update for the Defender of the Fatherland operation. Usually during these operations I'm busy grinding out the tanks that we can earn, but I felt like it was really important for this one to try and put together a video that highlights some of the information we've been able to gather. Hopefully Wargaming sees this and there's some proposed fixes in here, and if it doesn't change what they're doing for this operation, maybe it'll change what they do for the next one that's based in a similar fashion. So first what I'm going to do is go through the answers to some questions that we got based on the questions we raised in the first video, and then we'll get into the data that I've compiled for the drop rate for the medals. So what we've learned in the meantime from answers from Wargaming in some Reddit posts and also from playing the game for the past couple of days are this. You can platoon for this event, but each member of the platoon needs to do their own 500 direct damage in order to get a loot drop. No surprise there. There is no time gating aspect to this operation. This is really good. This is an operation that could have been completed on the first day of the operation. No spacing it out, no doing a chunk, every 3 days and then cramming a lot in at the end. You could do the entire thing. It was open from the start. I really like that. I think this is one of the few positives from the event, but it is a positive and we should encourage it and, complain and let them know what we don't like about the event, but also highlight what we do. And I think this is definitely a positive aspect of the event. We also learned that you can only earn 1 medal per battle, and you also earn them in order. So you get Fatherland 1, then you're eligible to get Fatherland 2, then you're eligible to get Fatherland 3. We also learned that you have the same percent chance of earning each of the medals. One of the theories I had early on was that maybe the first medal you got would be quick. You'd have a high drop rate. The second one would be a little harder, and so on until the last one was a significant grind. But it appears that that's not the case. Each of the medals has the same percent drop chance. The question is, what is that percent drop chance? Wargaming has made a conscious decision to hide the ball in that aspect from us. We've asked, and they've danced around the issue and not given us an answer. And there's no real good reason for it that I can see, other than, well, maybe people would be upset if we said the drop rate is 1 in 10 and you're getting less than that, you'll be mad. Well, right now I'm pretty sure everybody's mad. Except for the people who have gotten the tank in 23 games or whatever it was. I'm pretty sure everyone's been pretty frustrated with the lack of information, with the guesswork that's involved in trying to figure out how frequently these medals are dropping. So since Wargaming won't give us the information, I decided to do my best to put that information together based on what I can find out there, to try and let everybody know what the drop rate is in my best guess, and then you can plan the rest of the event out and decide whether it's worth it for you or not to pursue this tank. So I'll tell you what I did to put that data together, and basically I went to several of the websites, the official forums, the Reddit the Reddit thread, comments on my first video, and I went through those and tried to pick any source that seemed like it had credible information for the number of games versus the number of medals received. And there's a bit of an art there. It's not hard science, but anything that looked like people were giving true numbers, not, oh, I played 500 games and I haven't gotten a medal yet. I tried to throw those out. But anyone that said, I'm on my 83rd game and I got 2 medals, or anything similar, I included it. And so what that left me with was a data size that included just under 50 different players, that made up just over 4,200 games and resulted in 112 medals. I want to say that 17 of the people that I gathered the data from had reported completing the event, so they did get all 5 medals. So that's not just, I wasn't just looking for people complaining. One of the weaknesses I think of my data is, you're more likely to have posted about this event if you're struggling, if you have an inordinate number of games without getting a medal. Yeah, you're probably more likely to go and vent about it, but this seemed about right. For every thread that had somebody complaining, there were people giving them encouragement, saying, hey, here's the success I've had, stay with it. And 17 or so out of about 50, that's not a bad completion rate for being 3 days in. So I don't think it's terrible, but bear that in mind. My final number for the percent drop may be a little higher than that if we're getting more negative reports than positive ones. So I compiled the data, put all those together, and the drop rate that I came out with was 2.5%. 2.5% drop rate for the medals, which would come out to about needing 200 games total to get all 5 medals to drop for the average player. And oddly enough, my first medal came on game 40. So I played and got my first medal earlier today. Then later today, went and compiled the data. I couldn't believe that it matched up that perfectly. But the sample size that I took, and keep in mind, this included the 23 game minimum that I think Pain God posted that somebody got the tank. So I included that data. I included the low ones where I could find them. Resulted in a 2.5% drop rate, and that was exactly when I got my first medal, was game 40. I've since gone a little above that and still haven't gotten my second. So I feel pretty good about that number. I think it might be pretty close. Again, if it turns out that the actual value is 3%, I wouldn't be surprised. That would fit if I had a few more negative posts than positive posts. So that's what it is. In my view, my estimate, 2.5% drop rate for each medal in a given game when you get the loot drop, 200 total games you can plan on to get the tank. So with that information, I wanted to put out a couple of proposed improvements for an event like this in the future to try and prevent some of the backlash and some of the struggle that we're having. And, just to let Wargaming know where we're coming from, the problem is the frustration, the unknown. If you tell me the drop rate is 2%, then I know if I'm 100 games in and I've only gotten 1 medal, well, I know based on the law of averages that I need to stick with it, and I've been a little bit unlucky so far. But if I don't know what the drop rate is, and I'm, like I was, 39 games in without it dropping, I had no idea. Could the drop rate be 1%? Should I just give up and stop? I mean, I certainly wasn't having any fun. And then from a philosophical standpoint, I've asked questions about other events and other mechanics in the game, and Wargaming, they seem to want things to be about earning and feeling like you earned the thing that you got. You earned your progress. You earned your ace tanker. Well, I don't think anybody feels like they're earning this tank. You have to do 500 damage, which is a very low bar, which I appreciate. That's great that you can have such a low bar to entry for the event. But then to put everything in this random number generator, it's not in a sense of accomplishment. When you get the medal, you're not like, oh, I nailed it, I really earned it. It's, oh, well, that was nice that I got lucky, that I won that lottery spin. It's not a good feeling. So I don't like how this event was put together and how they're giving out the tank. Again, keep in mind, everything I'm saying is in the backdrop of Wargaming is giving us an event for a free tank, a premium tier 8 tank. That's great. We appreciate it. This is a game that I love to play, that a lot of us love to play. So all of this is coming from that place, but I still want to voice the frustrations and the problems that I'm having with the event they're putting together. So some things that we could do to fix the event now or in the future is put a cap on the number of games that will be required to earn the tank. And so right now you get a loot drop for doing the 500 damage, and then it's just a complete random roll whether you get a medal or not. So you could play game 1 and get a medal, or you could play 50 games and not get one. And game 51 isn't going to have any better of a chance than game 50 did, than game 1 did. You're rolling for that 2.5% chance. Well, you could do that, keep that aspect, but maybe every single time you get a loot drop, you get a portion of a medal. Maybe it's, 1/10 of a medal, a medal shard, whatever name you want to call it. And then when you've accumulated 10 or 20 of the shards, you can turn those in for a full medal. That way, if you get whatever number you pick, 20 loot drops, you haven't gotten your medal yet, well, now you've earned a medal through the 20 shards. You can turn it in for a medal, and you've made progress. This way, every game that you're playing, you know you've progressed a little bit closer towards your goal, as opposed to the way it is now. If you're 50 games in and you get a loot drop and it's not the medal, game 51, you still haven't made any progress. You might as well have not played, because you haven't helped yourself at all. The other thing we can do is discount the tank for the number of loot drops. I proposed in the first video discounting the tank based on the number of medals. If you got a medal, you could buy the tank for 20% off after the event if you didn't unlock it all the way, or 2 medals, you get 40% off. Well, you could do that for the loot drops as well. If you get whatever number you select, 200 loot drops or 150 loot drops, then at the end of the event, you'll be able to purchase the tank for free or for 80% off, or whatever intervals you want to set. That way, people would feel like they're making progress for playing the game. Because as it is right now, we're limited to Soviet tanks, which not a lot of people like to play, but some do. And you're limited to doing damage. So are you really going to play your Soviet artillery? Maybe, but probably not. Are you really going to play that MT-25 Soviet light tank? Maybe, but most games you're probably not going to have a great chance of getting that 500 damage. So you're limited to, you know, your heavies with a big gun, and maybe you do 1 or 2 damaging shots, or your mediums, which are pretty good. But playing for a week straight of just, you know, how many Soviet tanks does the average player have in their garage that would be capable of completing this event? I have maybe 6, and I've got a lot of tanks. I've got to be on the upper end, I'm not at the top of the spectrum, but I'm pretty sure I've got more than most people. So some people are playing, what, 2, 3 tanks for a week straight? It's not fun. We're doing it to get the tank, and to do it and not be making progress, oh, it's just such a grind. It's really demoralizing. So hopefully the feedback is reaching you guys. You're thinking of ways to improve the event, and hopefully giving us the information in the future. Tell us everything about the event. Tell us the ins and outs. Tell us how it works. Don't be afraid of us gaming the system. If we game the system, we had fun doing it. We played your game, and then fix the loophole next time. Don't be afraid to fail. And also, tell us what you're planning to do before you release it. If you're thinking of, you said you had a meeting where people were discussing and somebody's like, oh, let's make it like a lottery, but they're playing for free. Run that by some members of your community, at least some active forum goers or the Reddit mods or somebody. You would have got the feedback that this random number generator, the lottery system, was just a bad idea that people wouldn't have liked. And then maybe you could have brainstormed some tweaks to make it better, like the ones that I've suggested here. So that's where we're at. Keep at it, guys. Again, if you have the time to put in about 200 games, then you're going to be able to get the tank. It's about a 1 in 40 drop rate based on my numbers. Hey, hopefully I'm wrong. Wargaming, tell me it's better. I'd love to see a post from you guys with some real numbers, because you have access to it with the push of a button. I was kind of putting this together in an ad hoc way, and I'm hoping it's useful to the community. Hopefully you guys, good luck with your event. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, you got something out of it. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe for future content. Good luck with the rest of your operation. Hope you get the Fatherland, and I'll see you next time.